The negative slope here is just insane. Look how high that hill is. I mean, that is just, you know, people always want to talk about negative slope, negative slope. I got it really bad. I got negative slope. It's nothing. It's nothing. If you watch this channel and you see, look at this. Look how high I got to be, I don't know, 7 feet higher than that patio. Negative slope. Negative slope. Coming right at the house. Negative slope. No big deal. We grab up all the water right here. We got this beautiful quad pack curtain French drain protecting this house. We're in West Bloomfield, Michigan, putting in a French drain to take care of water problem. Anytime you're asking water to neck down and find its way through a small green belt, it usually don't work really well. There's a nice defined swale in the back. We love that. That's great. But to help the water find its way out of the yard, we're going to run a French drain. You want to haul all the dirt away. You want to make sure you haul all the dirt away. Don't put any of the dirt back into a French drain. Guys will only haul part of the dirt away, or they'll hide it somewhere in the yard because they're not equipped to haul it away. Make sure you hire a yard drain contractor who's hauling all the dirt away when he's putting in your French drain. That's the #1 rule to a good French drain. Now we're replacing a failed French drain system. I'm going to show you why. So you can see we're tearing it out. There's a little bit of pea stone and that's it. And there's a bunch of dirt mixed in. It's because they didn't haul all the dirt away. Now we're going to replace all that with stone. We're using a 9-inch bucket. It's probably giving us about a 10-inch trench. I want to point this out. We're using 3.5-inch pipe. Look how shallow we start out. Look how shallow. Look, here's my hand. Look how shallow we are. We're not even up to my wrist. If it was 4-inch pipe, you got to start super deep. You end up excavating more dirt, more haul out. It becomes a much bigger project. Our new systems are 50% less labor. 3.5 is fantastic. Such a happy medium. You can see Valente, he keeps checking with that laser transit. The bottom of the trench is on 1% slope. The bottom of the trench gradually slopes out and around down the side of the house. Doesn't matter what the yard does. We're going to get the water out of here now because of that trench bottom having slope on it. So yeah, you're going to have shallower sections and you're going to be deeper in certain areas where the ground was higher in the yard. That's why the water couldn't get out of here. You're asking it to drain through grass, through this little pinch point. You got uneven terrain. This is an easy one. This is a simple one. This is a great job for a DIYer. Guys, we're hauling out all the dirt. You want to haul away all the dirt. Do not put any of the dirt back into a French drain. The guys pile the dirt on the side of the downspout trench because they're putting that dirt back in. All this dirt is getting hauled off. Notice how there was no dirt piled alongside the French drain trench. We're not putting any dirt back in. I see guys that claim they're not putting the dirt back in, yet all the dirt is piled on the side of their trench. Guess what? In that video and or picture, When you see them doing that, that's evidence that they're lying to you. Nobody with a brain would pile dirt to a side of a trench and then later have to dig like madmen to get it in a machine or wheelbarrow. They pile dirt to the side of the trench because it's easy to shovel it and push it back in the trench. They're not equipped to haul it away. And that's the unfortunate part right there. So the reason why we replaced so many failed French drains are because the dirt was put back in, all of them. They're short-lived. Early on when the dirt's put in, there's a lot of pores that the water will drain through, but eventually it becomes compacted, usually after about 2 years. The drain works a little less and a little less until one day it doesn't work anymore. So this was a knife cut perforated pipe. It wasn't saw cut. Wasn't moving much water, and they put the dirt back in on top of it. So here, no fabric. This is what it looks like. Look at this. This pipe is full, solid. That's what no fabric looks like. Right there. Look at that. These pipes are full of dirt. No fabric. Very little stone. Putting the dirt back on. Yeah, but it's the pipe. It's the corrugated pipe. Wrong. It's the installer. It's the installer all day long when a drain fails. So let me tell you how this French drain is going to work. A lot of my homeowners tell me, hey, it's been raining for 20 minutes and there's no water coming out of this discharge end. Well, that's because this is a dry well. It's a leach field. And when the ground is completely saturated, it'll finally start to run that excess water out of the soil and down to the discharge line. But we've been in a drought lately. We're going to put this in the first really, really good rain. There ain't going to be no water that's going to come out of this. It's going to load the groundwater first. This soil is really, really dry. We got some sand veins in here, which is good. But the first really good rain, I doubt anything makes it to the discharge line. Once this does its work as a dry well and a leach field, and we finally had enough rain, we're going to lose a ton of water through the greenbelt area. We're going to charge the groundwater first. Then finally you're going to have excess water make it down to the end where this line discharges at. Only during the rainy season will you always see water coming out of your discharge line. The reason why the old system failed, they didn't use drain fabric like we're using. See how the pipe is full of dirt? Look at that. That's what happens when you don't use drain fabric. It also is what happens when you put dirt back in the trench and you don't fill the whole French drain in with stone. This 3.5 inch pipe is perfect. The guys were able to start really shallow on this end. They'll quickly end up at 4 pipes. We get pretty deep through here. The pipe has more void than the stone. So if we can put more pipe in the trench, you want to build your system with a lot of void. Stone has void in it. That moves the water. But the inside of a pipe has a larger void. So that's why we're going to put a quad pack in here. The homeowner is going to be better off with a quad pack. You can't put stone in big enough to have voids that matches what a pipe creates for a void. All throughout the system, because they didn't use the drain fabric. The entire system filled up with dirt. The homeowner said, what was the old drain like? I showed him some video. Since I'm videoing it as we tear it out, The whole system, the entire thing. The pipe was plugged. This entire drain was put in using a laser level. You have a transmitter and a receiver. Valente, he's over here checking for perfect slope, 1% slope. We do have a lot of fall through here, so we get a little shallower. The installer failed. The pipe didn't fail, the installer failed. It's always the case. Every once in a while some Home Depot pipe collapses. Unbelievable. Completely filled with dirt. 100% filled with dirt. In the comments, people ask, like, how do you put the fabric around the sprinkler system? You just cut it. People are just overthinking this. This pipe is really easy to pull through sprinklers and utilities. It really helps if you work as a team. A couple people can do this, and half the time it's really nice. We have 4 perforated pipes. These are 3.5-inch pipes. Man, they fit fantastic. This trench was made with a 9-inch bucket on a mini excavator. Super easy system to install. 50% less labor. Can't beat it. There used to be all kinds of standing water right in here. They couldn't get the water out of here. Trying to weave water through that narrow, bottlenecked green belt, it's not going to happen. You got to give water a little help. You're going to start out so shallow that you only have room for the bottom 2 pipes. Then, as you're creating slope, you'll end up going to a quad pack. We're moving a lot of air. We have a lot of void. There's a lot of capacity in this system. We're tying in a downspout to a solid pipe. The quad pack will go from 4 perforated pipes to 3 perforated pipes and a solid. You can see how shallow this line is. They had to go under the sprinklers, no problem. Couldn't go over them. They're just too shallow. You can see the guys didn't have to cut them and repair them. You know, these are just the way they were. Real easy pipe to work with, the 3.5-inch. Less headache, without question. A better fit for French drains and yard drains. I just want to point out there is no dirt on either side of the trench. We hauled it all away. We're going to fill this in with stone, 100%. Then we're going to wrap it, encapsulate it, pin the fabric tight, seal it up, put sand on top, and then we do have the sod that we cut off laying next to the trench. Always put that on the side of the trench that you're not going to be working on. You're going to be working on both sides, but your machines have to go on these ground protection mats. You don't want to be smashing your sod down and flatten it out. It just makes it so hard to work with later. I just want to point out, this drops into this trench. Then this drops into where our cleanouts are going to be. You want to do that. You want to create steps. The water is going to flow much better. When this French drain is trying to empty out, and right here at the discharge it drops, that accelerates the water, and it makes sure you get every drop out of that French drain system, because you don't want to leave water behind. These trees, They love water, and their roots are seeking out water during the drought season. You don't want to leave water in that trench. The negative slope here is just insane. Look at how high that hill is. I mean, that is just, you know, people always want to talk about negative slope, negative slope. I got it really bad. I got negative slope. It's nothing. It's nothing. If you watch this channel and you see, look at this. Look how high I am. I got to be, I don't know, 7 feet higher than that patio. Negative slope. Negative slope. Coming right at the house. Negative slope. No big deal. We grab up all the water right here. We got this beautiful quad pack curtain French drain protecting this house. Well, it was easy digging for a while.
Yeah.
Then we had to come across the valve box that the grass grew over. Sprinkler. Then we got a valve that's not even in the box, which is ridiculous. If you can do like 3 here, okay, on each side. Thanks. Perfect. That's great. We're drilling some extra holes in them. Works out great. Sometimes sediment ends up building in the bottom of this. So then these being higher, the water can leach out that way.
Yep.
These basins are really thick. You can see how strong they are.
Yeah.
That's nice. Quality right there. Quality. We're putting some cleanouts in here. That quad pack is going to come in. All 4 pipes are going to connect to those 4-way connect catch basins. Then we're going to come out on the 2 bottom ports and we're going to Y it together. It's going to be a 4-inch discharge. We stagger these 4-way connect catch basins. Makes it a lot easier to work with. It's a beautiful setup. They fit in the trench really nice when you stagger them. Easy, quick connect. Those are your 2 bottom pipes. Those are your primary. That is some thick pipe. Beautiful. Quick, fast. You do not have to tape these. This whole system is permeable. It's taken in water. Those catch basins, they drop down a good 2 inches. The guys do that on purpose. You want that. When you get to those catch basins, those cleanouts, drop them down so that you can empty that French drain. That's the only way you'll know for sure if your French drain is always empty. You don't want it to hold water. Quick, easy, strong. Nice job, guys. Beautiful work. There's your quad pack, all hooked up. Now we cap off the top of these 4-way connects, and then the bottom on this one are both 4-inch. This is the way I prefer it. I like to see us go to 4-inch. Unless you're shallow and you're having trouble daylighting that 4-inch pipe, then run 2 3.5s out. When we're in the field and we want to turn this into a 6-inch catch basin, it's easy to do. Beautiful. Super easy, simple, quick. Went from a 4-inch to a 6-inch. That was designed that way. There's guides to keep that 6-inch hole saw in line. Going to a 4-inch Y with a 45 right there. Tie those together. Go to a single 4-inch discharge. We got to snake it through here. We got sprinkler lines and valve boxes and all kinds of fun stuff. I just love how quick everything goes together. Just snaps together so nice. It's 4-inch single wall pipe right there. You can use perforated, doesn't have to be solid. We're going to have all this buried in stone. We're going to have stone locking it all together. Quick, simple, easy, fast. Look at that. Quad pack to a clean out. We can access all the pipes. It doesn't get any better than that. A solid white line, we're tying in a second downspout. We have 2, this one's on a pretty good run. We got 2 downspouts on 1 3.5-inch main. Now we want to set these to grade. Francisco's adjusting them. Those smaller risers are 1.5 inches each. He's going with 2 of them, it looks like, which is 3-inch rise. If we were really deep, we use these 5-inch risers. So everybody wants to know, how do you bring your downspout through into your French drain? You cut a hole in the fabric, but you cut it small, like too small, to where you have to push the pipe through, and you can just see it just, you know, forms a seal around the pipe. Again, you know, it's one of those things that falls in that category. Don't overthink it. You know, it's that simple. Small hole with a razor knife in the fabric, force the pipe through. It'll be tight around the pipe. You guys did a great job. Right here, we went from 4 perforated pipes to 3 perforated pipes. We got 2 on the bottom, 1 on top now, because we brought this downspout in. This is so flat through here, it's just terrible. It's really tough. You know, we just don't want to let that water go in this case. So we wanted to run it all the way. Tied in that second one. Life is good. So we're taking this to daylight. We're not putting it on a pop-up. We had enough slope down to the ditch. Right here you can see the ditch, you can see the culvert. So we're using the flow gate to keep the chipmunks out. There's a lot of chipmunks in this neighborhood. Keep the rodents out. Really nice system. It's going to scream. There's a lot of drop at the discharge line. You do not have to tape that. This whole system, except for the solid white pipe, but this whole system is permeable. So Francisco wants to run a branched line up here. You see where the water's pooling right here on this patio? So nobody talked about that, and the system wasn't designed and built for that. But as Francisco pointed out, it'll be real easy right now to run one line up in here, and we'll just tie it into the top of our quad pack. So we're going to show you how simple and how shallow a branched line like this is. You can reach up and grab a little puddle anywhere in the yard with a branch line. Super easy to tie one in. Francisco pointed out, you see all the base material under this patio? This branch line is going to drain all the water during a rain that goes through this permeable paver. Like, all this stuff isn't wet set, it's dry set. So it's permeable, all the base material is permeable. But then when you got heavy soil against it, the water stays under there. And during the winter, this moves. It freezes and it heaves. And everything comes out of alignment. In the spring, you got to reset things. We're going to take care of that. So we put most of the dirt back on the discharge line. That's the only time you save dirt. We piled the dirt on these turf protection mats and then just shoveled it back in, packed it in real nice. Everything else is going to be stone. The stone is going to pack tight, hold everything together. Here's your quad pack, 8 slots. Got 3 permeable, 3.5s. Beautiful work right here. Making sure that you can access the discharge line as well as the rest of the system. That's how easy it is to run a branch line off the main. That'll get filled in with stone. The guys used a 3-foot fabric instead of a 5-foot fabric. Francisco's using a fabric pin to hold the end of the plug down. You can take a fabric pin, stick it right through one of the perforations to hold that down in place. The top pipes, just put end plugs in them. You want to put end plugs in them. A lot of guys don't cap the ends, but that's the weakest point where you cut a piece of pipe and it's just open like this and it has no fitting. That's really weak and that can crush on you. So always put a strong end plug in. These end plugs are really strong. You don't have to tape that Y. It's perforated pipe. We're trying to let all the water in. We're not trying to keep the water from falling out of the pipe like we do a solid pipe. They're going to be dumping all the stone in. Just lock everything together real nice. Now we can get at everything. These cleanouts. We made this 4-way connect catch basin for many reasons, but this one was up at the top of the list. I love this 3.5-inch pipe because you get a little bit of stone between the pipe and the fabric. The manufacturer of the fabric have shown that the flow rate increases when you can do that. We'll take those little gains. All those details add up. It's hard to get a ditch witch in here and turn it and dump it, so the guys are right now working their way into this backyard with just wheelbarrows. Francisco's going to put a clean out on both of these bottom pipes. We're only going to have a turf plate on one of them. We know both cleanouts are together. The turf plate's going to help us locate this if we ever need to run a camera through it or a jetter. This really is a feel-good for your homeowner. Most systems will never need a jetting, but sometimes you end up with some soil-borne bacterias, different things that can clog a line, like iron ochre is a good one. If that was the case, you'd want to jet that out every year. And that's it. That's how easy it is. 2 cleanouts. You want them on your bottom pipes. You can just put end plugs in the top pipes. So this is the entire system assembled before stone. You can see how easy everything goes together. Super quick, simple. Quad pack system. Now compared to the system we tore out that had no drain fabric and it had such a little amount of stone that the pipe filled up with dirt. They put the dirt back in the trench after they dropped the pipe in with a little stone. I have to ask you, are we giving our clients their money's worth in stone and pipe? Look at this system. A system like this doesn't fail. Homeowners say, I want a warranty, I want a guarantee. They have no problem guaranteeing this system for 50 years. And I can tell you right now that it's still going to be here 100 years from now. So the system that we tore out, I can tell you that thing didn't work very well when it was new. It worked, but after a few years, when all that dirt really got compacted around that pipe that they threw back into the trench, it stops working. They always do. So we're using a 3/4 to 1 inch stone. We're using round rock. Round rock doesn't compact like jagged stone, like crushed stone. So it's nice. It keeps its voids. When you have crushed stone, you can get the flats to lay together. Makes the void disappear. So between compaction and the stones laying flat on one another, that's a problem. When you're trying to create void and you want a good porous vein of stone for the water to move through, try to get round rock. Man, I just love that. It's a good fit, man. It's a good fit. 9-inch bucket on an excavator. It'll give you about a 10-inch wide dig. It's perfect. Absolutely perfect. So when you're encapsulating the whole system, you're going to have areas where you just have to cut small pieces of fabric. You don't want to double the fabric if you don't have to. That's perfect. That's beautiful, guys. Really nice work. The guys don't want a really big overlap. They just want 2 to 3 inches overlap when they're encapsulating the system. You want to be able to grab surface water with this. I mean, it's going to be fantastic for subsurface water, but you also want to grab the surface water too. Just take some fabric staples and just go ahead and pin that down, pin that in place. You can see how the guys cut real tight around those cleanouts. No contamination can find its way into the system. Another thing that I want to point out, the round rock's easier to work with. Crushed rock is a nightmare to rake around. 3/4 inch to 1 inch. We love working with it for quad packs. You don't lock all the pipe together if you use 1.5 inch round rock on a quad pack. It's difficult. You're not going to get much stone between the pipe and the fabric, and that's what we're working towards. I will tell you this, if you're a DIYer and you're looking for a system that's 50% less labor, this is it. The inch, like the 3/4 inch to 1 inch round rock, is the easiest stone to rake around a handle. Hold the pipes down. Make sure you have somebody to hold those pipes down. Then all the stone's going to lock this system together really nice. Look at that. You know, work as a team. You need at least 2 of you. That's it. That pipe will not be out of place. It's set to slope. It's all perfect. It's all locked together. It don't get any better than that. So Francisco's cutting that fabric because we had too much overlap. And you're not going to take any surface water if you have too much overlap. So this fabric, it has thousands and thousands, you can see them, needle punch holes. This fabric was double punched, all these needle punch holes. So when you overlap it, those holes don't line up. So when guys are saying fabric don't work, fabric doesn't let the water in, well, that's because they're pulling it over top of like real big, long pieces. They don't know. You have to trim it. You have to cut it. If you install fabric correctly, it will take in water, 100%. This whole job is DIY at this point, all DIY. Wheelbarrowing all the stone in. The negative slope here is crazy, getting a ditch witch on there and spinning it with a full bucket of stone. They get real tippy. We don't show it, but a lot of our systems go in DIY. No different than what the homeowner would do. So we just put these 6-inch covers, solid covers for the cleanouts. That's it. These aren't going to be seen. Nobody's going to really know they're there except us. If the homeowner ever wants us to do an inspection, run a camera through it, sometimes just, you know, for a peace of mind, now we can. We could run a camera through the discharge line. We could run a camera through all 4 of those pipes on the quad pack. The 2 bottom ones are the ones that I'm primarily interested in always.
If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.